Jasmine Crockett has been making some waves lately. She is one of those very outspoken Democratic politicians who does not like to mince words. Now, look, I don't agree with all of her policy. She does kind to tend a little bit more centrist-y. She's center left. She's not as far left as I would want her to be. But at the same time, when she does go after Trump and the Republican Party, she hits hard, and that's the kind of fight that we need in the Democratic Party. If I had my choice of, Chuck Schumer's and Hakeem Jeffries versus the Jasmine Crockett's of the world, I would take 50 more Jasmine Crockett's. I love the shit that she does. She was on stage with the organization called Move On, and she had some choice words for the president and the administration. Let's have a listen. It is a joy to watch.
I am confident. It doesn't matter who the Democratic nominee is going to be, we're going to win. But what are we going to need to do then? For me, it's getting aggressive. Now listen, I'm not going to say this is what we're going to do, but I'm telling y'all what my vision would be. Number one, this Supreme Court is corrupt. So again, serving on the Judiciary Committee, there are bills that we have put into place. We need to have some real guardrails around this Supreme Court.
She ain't wrong about that. Every other member of the judiciary, every lower court have rules of ethics that they have to follow. And all of those judges, whether they're Democrat or Republican judges, they have all been ruling against Donald Trump in a myriad of different things, whether it's on immigration or the Epstein shit, or whether or not Donald Trump is breaking the Constitution. They're all ruling against him, and then it matriculates its way up to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court goes, oh, Donald Trump can do whatever he wants to. And they happen to be the only member of the judiciary. The top dogs have no ethics and no rules, and the only group of people that can put rules on them is Congress. And Congress has abdicated all of their authority to the dear leader, so they're not doing anything about it. I mean, Clarence Thomas, he's driving around in a $2 million gift that Harlan Crow gave him. Harlan Crow, notorious lover of fascism, let's just put it that way. All of the statues of world leaders that he hates are in his backyard, and the only world leaders that he has in the house is Adolf Hitler and Mussolini. I digress, but he bought Clarence Thomas a rolling palace that he can, drive all over the country in. They bought what was it? What's the other justice? Gorsuch. She had a house that he had been trying to sell for years that he wasn't able to. And as soon as he took the bench, a very wealthy Republican bought that house off of him. So, I mean, these guys are super, super fucking corrupt. They're easily bought. Samuel Alito notoriously goes on $1 million fishing trips saying, hey, I only took this private jet flight because the seat was empty and, it was going to go to waste. So I really wasn't breaking any rules. I just sat on the empty seat. It's no big deal. So what that, it was some wealthy billionaire that, that got it for me. Who's to say? None of this, everything is above board. And just because I ruled on one of his cases and ruled in his favor doesn't mean that I'm corrupt. It just means I'm following the law that I see fit. I have no rules or ethics constraining me. I can do whatever the fuck I want to.
Because the Supreme Court has paved the way for half the stuff that we see that's going on. Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. Yeah.
Now, that's what she got in trouble for, was calling Donald Trump a piece of shit. And I'm here to say, yes, he is.
Yes, he is. He is. He is. But in a functioning democracy, he still would not be able to get away with this. But he's been able to get away with this because the House Republicans are complicit. He's been able to get away with this because Senate Republicans are complicit. But most importantly, the courts, especially the Supreme Court, is complicit And so I think one of the places that we have to start is we are absolutely, they are the highest court in the land, and they have no ethics guardrails. Now you go down to the lower courts, and they do. How much sense does that make? When we know that they're taking money, we have the paper trail, and they refuse to put guardrails on themselves.
She ain't wrong, man. There's nothing that she has said that is incorrect, including Donald Trump being a piece of shit. Everything that she has said is correct. Everything.
So it's time for us to do it for them. So for me, that is absolutely one of the surefire ways that we can protect our democracy is if we put some guardrails on them. As someone, I talked about breaking quorum in 2021. As someone who broke quorum because we were seeking the passage of the Freedom to Vote Act, which would have taken money out of politics, as we were seeking the passage of the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, that would have made sure that we wouldn't end up in situations like what we're facing in Texas with redistricting. So it also would have made sure that it doesn't matter if you're casting your vote, say, in California or if you're in Texas, you would still have equal access to the ballot box. Unfortunately, in a state like Texas, we don't have online voter registration. Unfortunately, in a state like Texas, they have decided that they want to criminalize those that go out and try to register people if they make a mistake on their voter registration. We cannot live in a country where we say everyone has equal access to the ballot box to decide who's going to be the president or who's going to serve in the Congress, but it's only easy if you're in a state like California. No, we need to equalize this thing. So
anyway, she's not wrong about any of that stuff, and she's catching hell from Republicans about it, but they don't really ever seem to critique her on the things that she said. They are critiquing her because she has holes in her pants, and they say that she's ghetto. And Donald Trump is always calling certain women, he always calls them nasty. He's a nasty woman. She's so nasty. And every time, and he always calls them low IQ too. Every last one of these women, they're always nasty women and they have low IQ. And every single one of the women that Donald Trump critiques in that way, they are all women of color. AOC, she's low IQ. Kamala Harris, low IQ. Ilhan Omar, nasty low IQ. That Jasmine Crockett, she's terrible. She's a nasty low IQ woman. Honey, she doesn't look like she has low IQ. She seems to be pretty up to date on all of your bullshit. And she's got you dead to rights, dog. Dead to fucking rights. So, look. Like I said, we need more people on the left. We need a groundswell of grassroots building from the ground up to get our party back the way that we want it to be. And Jasmine Crockett and I could sit down and have a conversation, and we could have a debate on some of her policy prescriptions, as opposed to somebody like Bernie or AOC or Zohran Mamdani. You know, she would probably disagree with some of those, but the one thing that she is a great value at is that kind of shit. Calling out Donald Trump on his bullshit and not mincing any words, and being able to be a good communicator, being able to speak in a way that the regular normie non-political voting public can understand. She says these things in a very understandable way, and that is what makes her a good politician. So anyway, if all of the Republican pundits out there are so mad because she called Donald Trump a piece of shit, honey, Donald Trump has called so many people so many fucking names. You know, we can't let these people coming in from shithole countries. You know, she's a nasty, low IQ woman. She's terrible. We hate her. He calls people bitches. He said that, you know, he alluded to the fact that he'd love to get, you know, Kamala Harris in the ring with Mike Tyson so he could beat her up. I mean, he has said some dastardly ass shit. Not only that, but he's racist as fuck, man. Donald Trump is so fucking racist. But that's half the reason why, you know, his MAGA base loves him, because he's saying the quiet part out loud, and it gives them carte blanche to be racist too. So they love him for that shit. But don't pretend like, oh my God, I'm clutching my pearls. She said a dirty word. She said piece of shit. Honey, we're out of those times now. We're out of the days of decorum. You get to say and do whatever you want. You get to call people all the nasty names in the world. You get to pass awful, just wretched laws to cut people's voting rights away, and to, all of the dastardly things that you were doing and you were supporting with the president. And meanwhile, you get offended if somebody says the word piece of shit. Come on, man. Stop being such bitches. Those days are over with. The days of Barack Obama are done. The days of Democrats acting civilly while you get to break off every law that you want to, but relying on Democrats to do the right thing and, to play by the rules, and you don't have to play by the rules. Those days are over with. We are all on the left over here. We're ready to call you all pieces of shit right to your face. And if Donald Trump was standing in front of me, first of all, I would have to get some nose plugs because I know that motherfucker smells like ketchup and cheeseburgers. But I would call his ass a piece of shit because that is exactly what he is. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.